was such a long shift working in the plant. I was ready for a long drive home. I'm young and I can honestly say that my adulthood has been very successful. I stayed in school, graduated with honours and applied myself into the real world thereafter. I got a good job working in a manufacturing plant where I do quality and on second shift. I live alone by my house and I still have plenty of money to treat myself every now and then. My latest treat was this awesome stereo system that I installed in my car. Bass, woofer, the works. I love music and especially trance and dubstep, and my awesome stereo system makes the music even better than what it was before. So it was always an excitement to drive home listening to my music, pull into my driveway and then hang out for a few minutes, continuing to listen to music. I had no neighbours close by, so it wasn't like I was bothering anyone. After finally making it home, I did what I normally did and sat inside my running car and listened to the bass. It was a pitch black outside, like there wasn't much lighting around my area. I lived in a country with crop fields and forests surrounding me. It was a peaceful place and easy to bump into my tunes as well as I wanted to without angering anyone else. While I sat in my car listening to my tunes, I stared into the void of darkness across the road in front of my house. There was a very small parcel of empty land and a large forest directly behind it. Something caught my eye. I could barely see a silhouette of something moving in the darkness, maybe 150 or 200 feet from where I was parked. Couldn't make out what it was. I figured it was a deer. Deer are everywhere around my parts. They're really cool creatures to watch too. So curious, so majestic. It appeared as if there were two silhouettes in the darkness in front of me. They were moving pretty rapidly. One looked like it was moving away from the other and the other caught up with it quickly. Then the two shadows would just move around in one spot, up and down, left or right. I just turned my already loud music up a little bit more and watched. Maybe I was seeing the deer playing. Maybe they were making love and getting ready to prepare for the forest for a new life. Whatever it was, to the loud sound of my beats, it was quite a magical sight to witness, even though I really couldn't make things out. A few minutes of this went by and I just saw one figure moving. It seemed like it was moving towards me. I was shocked that the bass coming from my car didn't startle it away. It kept inching closer and closer, but I couldn't really make it out. But then the beauty I was seeing came to an end. A car travelled down the road, closing in on the area. A deer, I assume it was a deer, took off running into the forest. I figured that it was a good sign to go in for the night, get a good night's sleep and wake up fresh the next day to enjoy some time to myself before I had to get back to work. I woke up abruptly. Banging on my door was very loud. "Police department," I heard from a distance. Confused and still half asleep, I got up and staggered to my front door, opened it and found two guys standing on my front porch dressed in suits. They both opened their coats slightly to reveal badges. I looked across the street to see rows of police cars, an ambulance, and a coroner van. "What happened out there?" I asked. "We were hoping you could tell us." "Did you see or hear anything last night around midnight?" one of the men asked, with great concern in his voice. I was in my driveway about that time, listening to music. I started to say before I was interrupted by the other man. "We need you to come with us and give us a statement," he said firmly. I didn't want to cause suspicion on myself because I didn't do anything wrong here. I didn't even understand what was going on. I just agreed and went with them. They took me to the local police department, sat me down. I told them everything. I told them about the deer and how one was approaching me before the car skated off. That was when the two detectives gave one and the other a grave look before turning to me, staring me in horror. They explained that across the road from me, about the time I was sitting in my car, two men were in the field. One man was the neighbour from down the road, taking an evening walk. and the other was a drifter serial killer looking for his next victim. The detectives told me it appeared that there was an intense struggle before the killer cut off the head of my neighbour. The killer must have heard my stereo system and thought he was going to come over, and what I thought was a deer approaching me was actually him, coming to claim his next prize. I was released without suspicion. I moved out of that house a week later and to the city. When I get off work, I quickly drive home and get inside and lock the doors. Be careful out there. What you think you see in the dark might not actually be it at all.